Okay guys, so since we've created our database, we launched our local server and we created the table that can store any user's information. We need now to get connected to this server. So in order to get connected to the server, we can use there are plenty of languages, but one of the most trusted one and one of the language which Facebook was using is PHP. So in order, for example, we are developing iOS app in Xcode and the Xcode can recognize the Swift code. So the same NetBeans can recognize the PHP code as a development environment. So let's go now to our NetBeans, click this button which is create new project, and here you can select PHP application. Next, and here the project name we're gonna use FB, which is a Facebook. And here browse, select browse. Make sure that you will allocate your project in the right direction. So come to this folder, which is the root folder of your Mac. Select applications, then scroll down, go to XAMPP, then go to htdocs. And in htdocs click open, and here we put /fb. So this is where we're gonna store our project. Okay, I'll now explain it. So and you can click finish. Okay, so here we go. We have created this. This is okay, excellent. So why we have allocated our project in exam folder. So this is exam folder. I just made a quick access to the XAMPP, or we can go to applications, scroll down, go to XAMPP, then here is XAMPP files, and here is the htdocs, or you can find a shortcut here, htdocs. So whatever is stored here, we can access via URL. For example, I will write here, so you see this file, favicon.ico. I'll write here localhost. So you see we can access this file. So it means whatever in this folder htdocs can be accessed directly through our web link. If we are using, let's say, a shared hosting from GoDaddy or Bluehost or Amazon, whatever, we can access it by, let's say, 3W, any your website, let's say like google.com, or this will be your website.com, and this is the file. It can be a coding file, it can be a coding class, I would say. This is how we can access it. Okay, so we have now created in the NetBeans our project. These two actual files, we don't need them, but you can keep it. So right click on the FB and let's create a new file which we will name it access. So this file will be in charge of the direct access to the database, and finish. Okay, you can just drag it out from the source files. If you're unable to do this, you can go directly. Here we go, it's fine. So, okay, we will now create one folder which we will name secure, and in this secured folder we can store some very like private coding classes like access.php, because this class will be directly in charge of accessing the database, which we need to protect from hacking. That's why I put it in the folder with the name secure. Means we cannot allow anyone to access this. Okay, so so the same comment here in PHP, the same like in the Swift. Here we will write this coding class is in charge of the communication with the server. Okay. Excellent. So the first we need to declare the class which we can anytime access, the same we did in Swift. I'll name the class very simply with the same name as the file name, access. Okay, class access. And what we need to do is we need to here declare the variables which will fetch the address of the server. Currently it's a local host. In future it will be 3w.yourwebsite.com. We need to declare these variables in order to construct this class. Okay, so the way we declare variables in PHP, it's similar to the Swift, but with a minor update. We write var dollar symbol mark, we write host, we keep it null, or you can write, let's say, array. You can do it in this way, but let's write null, because initially we want it to take no memory. Then another variable will be the user, which will be null. Another one will be password, null. Another one will be name, which is again null. And another two variables will be dollar symbol con, which means connection. This will store a full connection to the server. Another variable will be result. This variable will store an entire result received from the server. Okay, so let me take you through the host user password and name. It doesn't have anything common with the user registered in the app in the Facebook. No. So this is, for example, when you go to GoDaddy.com and you want to buy, let's say, hosting. Here you create new account, create my account, and here you will declare your email, your username, password, etc. So once you get in there, it will give you the same PHPMyAdmin panel if you purchase the hosting. So when you purchase, in order to access this PHPMyAdmin panel, so other people won't be able to access that, it will give you a login, which will be a username. It will give you the password to your account of, let's say, my PHP admin, or to your dedicated server. It will give you the username, it will give you the password, and host means the URL in order to access your server. Because the app or the PHP, this class will be connected to the server, so we must declare the URL. So in our case, it's just a HTTP ://localhost. So in our case, it will be localhost. But when we will be using a dedicated shared hosting, it will be 3w.yourweb.com. This is what we will be using. Okay. Name means the name of the database that we're willing to access. It will be FB, Facebook. Okay, so now we need to construct this class. So in order to be able to use and to populate this class, we need to construct it. For that purpose, PHP already having a ready function which is in charge of constructing, or it has a ready property, or it's called protocol. So we can write function, then we write from __. Here we write construct. Here we go. So here, in order to construct it, we need to construct it with these variables. Okay. Here we write host, comma, then we write user, comma, then we write pass, comma, and name. Okay, so these are variables, are not the variables which are declared earlier. These are variables, if you remember from Swift, these are variables, this is a reference variables to construct this. So when we will be calling this function, here we will have to replace these variables with some values. So these values will be that ones. Okay. Here we'll write variables for construction of the class and access to the server. Okay, excellent. So here what we will do is, once the class is constructed, we want all the information to be stored in these variables. So we will write this, then arrow host equals to host. So that one, this is how we access this host. So you remember in Swift we used to write self host equals host, let's say. So in PHP we'll write this host equals host. Okay, then let's write this user equals user. Then we will write this password equals password. Then we write this name equals $symbol name. Okay, so once this class got constructed, we want these values like hostname, user, pass, and name to be, I would use the word cached, to be cached in these variables. Okay, here we are caching the server access data in order to use them later. Okay, so now we will write another ready function of the PHP to build the connection. So we will write this con, which says connection, equals to new, means to establish new connection, MySQLi, that's the one, MySQL1, and here we will write this host, comma, this user, comma, then this pass, comma, this name, semicolon. This is must in PHP after every single line. And so this function establish connection, this function will help us to establish the connection. So okay, so since the connection is established, we will proceed further. But what if the connection establishment it failed? So we write if, and open the round bracket and close round bracket right here, MySQL I underscore connect error notification. It means error notification. Open curly bracket, and here write. So in Swift we used to write print, and here is, let's say, error. In PHP we do it in a different way. We write echo could not construct. Okay, this is constructing the class, and here we will return we won't execute it further. So here error occurred while constructing the class. Okay, excellent. And here we will use the char set char set, and here open quotation marks, write UTF-8 and semicolon. Okay, excellent. So let's now write a comment. This function will build the full class. We'll build the full class. This function will construct the full class with these details. Okay, but it won't connect it to the server. It will just construct the full class. That's it. Okay, let's now write the function for connecting to the server. The function will be public. It means that this function can be executed from another PHP file or PHP class. Public function connect, open and close round bracket, open curly bracket. So this function will establish connection with the server. Excellent. And here we will write this connection equals new MySQLi open and close round bracket. Here is, don't forget to put semicolon at the end, and here inside we will write again this host, this user, then we have this password, then we got this name. Excellent. So this will establish the connection. But what if the connection will fail? We write here if open and close round bracket. We write here if inside if MySQLi underscore connect error notification open curly brackets. Here we will write could not connect, and we want to return, we don't want to proceed further. And again we will cast it as a UTF-8 charset. This con, then again arrow. Arrow means dash and the greater mark. Char set charset UTF-8 semicolon. Okay, so here we are establishing connection after the class is constructed. Here error occurred while connecting. Okay, so and the last function for now in this class will be disconnect. So once we've finished using the connection with the server, we must immediately disconnect. So it means, let's say we're now sending we registered a new user. For that purpose we need to first construct the class. After that we need to establish the connection. Then we need to send all the information to the server. Then we need to disconnect the connection. So this is what we will do. We'll now write public function. Public means it can be accessed from anywhere. Function disconnect. Open and close round bracket, open curly bracket. And here we'll write a one good logic if, and in the open round bracket and close it, inside the round brackets write this, which is a connection is not null, means if the connection is not null means it is established, then we want to stop it. This con, then we make again arrow, we write close and semicolon. Here if the connection is not null means it's already established, close it. This function will disconnect from the server once we finished using the server connection. So this is, now we have built the main construction of the class and the main functions, which is for connection and disconnection from the server. So as you can see here, we declared here variable of named connection, which stores the full connection since it got established. Why? So in order to be able to manipulate it or to disconnect it whenever we need this. Okay, so this is now in access.php class. Let's create a new file which will be a register. We will do now a quick test. We will create now a new file which will be register.php, and we will click finish. Here I'll write a comment. This class is in charge of sending new user, which is a registration information, to the server. Okay, let's now just quickly check. We want now access. We want to access the access.php file from register.php, and we want to build the connection. So we will write here in Swift. You remember we write import here. Let's say UI kit, but in PHP we write require open and close round brackets. Don't forget semicolon at the end. And here, so require here we will declare the path to the file. We'll write secure slash access.php. So why we write it in this way? Why we write it with the secure access? Why we don't write, let's say, desktop or XAMPP, then HD docs? Why we don't write in this way? So whenever, for example, register PHP, it's in the folder source file. So source file, it stores register PHP. And the same folder, which is a source file, stores the folder which is a secure. So directly from the folder where register PHP is allocated, we can navigate directly. So source files, it stores register.php. And source files stores secure. So we directly write secure, then slash means open the folder and go into it, and then access. Let's say if the access file would be in the source file itself. So then we'll just write access.php. Okay, this is how we would do. Okay, I'll move back the access file to secure. Okay, if you hold command button on your keyboard, left mouse click, it must take you to the access.php file. Okay, here we are including access.php file or class into register.php. So now what I want to do is, we just imported. So we need to create, we need to construct the connection. We need to construct the file. So this access, we need first to construct this. And here I'll write new access. This is the one construction. So the host name is a local host. As you remember, the host name is localhost. Later on, we'll be using a shared or dedicated hosting server on Amazon or GoDaddy, etc. We will be using here our domain, which will be www.michael.com, for example. So in our case, it's a localhost, http://localhost. So we'll just write here in quotation marks localhost. What about the user? As remember, this is the username which you can use to access your server. So when you go to my PHP admin homepage, here user, it shows you which is root. The username will be, in our case, root. This is fixed. This is fixed for the XAMPP localhost. So definitely when we will be using Amazon server, here will be a certain username. And the password, we got no password, so we'll just keep it blank. Definitely when let's say we will be using Amazon.com, we will have a password which we will be able to say this password. And here, name of the database, it will be FB Facebook, and semicolon, don't forget to write it. So this is the database which we want to access. Okay, so now we have constructed the class. So since we constructed this class, I want as a next step to access this function. In order to access this function, I must put this line of the code into one variable. So here I will declare one variable access equals to. So this is we constructed the access class, and I want this construction or the full class, I want to put it in this variable. So now we can easily access the function which is connect. Okay, here we will write access, which is this variable. We'll write arrow. This arrow means we can access all the function in it. So you can write disconnect, but we want to connect. This is the one, connect function. And don't forget to put a semicolon there. Okay, so how we can test it? Come back to our localhost. Here we'll write localhost slash we'll write here register.php. So it says it couldn't find it. Let's register.php. Okay. Yes, of course. So localhost, as you remember, localhost, it will access everything in this file, in this folder. So then we need to go to our project or to the folder which is FB. So localhost FB, then slash, and we'll access register PHP. So if you write a wrong name, it will tell you the file wasn't found. Okay, so it shows us blank, but maybe there is an error. Let's check it out. So make sure that this is how it looks your URL. Localhost means we're in htdocs folder here. Then we go to FB here. Then we access register.php file. Okay, so I'll come back to NetBeans, and here in access, there is no error, means we could establish the connection very well because it doesn't throw us the message could not connect and could not construct. Let's write here else command. I will recommend you to do this as well. So come back to NetBeans, go to access.php. Here in if statement write if my SQLite connection error notification, show us the message. Else means if there is no error, echo constructed. And this is how we will use the break. Or we can use like this, which means to create the break after this will be shown. And here for connection, we will write else echo connected. I will save it. You can save your project here. Then come back to our browser and let's reload it. So it shows constructed and connected successfully. So this means that our database got connected successfully. So now in case if you see this means we are able now to connect to our database. So you can now remove this else. And this it must be removed, because why? Any information that we will be receiving here, let's say this connected constructed, it will be shown in the app to the user. So we don't want to this type of mess to be shown to the user. So that's why I remove this. If you were able to connect it, save both of these files, and we will now proceed further. Guys, good job, we established the connection to the server.